And I also want to welcome Commissioner McGrath back to the Houses here in his position, and also to welcome the Women's Shankle Group who are here with us in Leinster House as well. You are very welcome here today. Tánaiste, Yarvin Fignery Board Tánaiste Conihenu and Rudder all the Sichanity Yanahan agus Shin Gold Keesna Smock Fuel so as quick fan gate at Eashigan Labian. Agus is were policy at a Fragrar Shaw. Tánaiste, today's Residential Tenancies Board figures confirm what renters already know, and that is that rents are out of control and your policies are responsible. And this isn't something abstract. I spoke to a couple last week. Tánaiste, they're renting, they both have good jobs. The plan was simple: save hard, buy their own home, and one day start a family here in Ireland. But they couldn't take the rent increases anymore, and they knew that there was more coming. So last week, they were left with no other option but to move back into his parents' home, back into his childhood bedroom. And now their plan has changed. Their plan now is to save money, to book flights, and head to Australia. Tánaiste, this couple are 26 and 27 years of age. This is what non-stop rip-off rents have done to their future, and it is a direct result of your policies over decades that have driven this rent crisis to boiling point. And the crisis that has resulted now in 5,400 eviction notices being issued in the last quarter alone. Your policies are not getting young people out of box rooms, you're putting them back into them. In the last year alone, both new rents and existing rents have risen by 5% across the state. But in some counties, the increases have been truly shocking. Leitrim up 16%, Carlow up 15%, Longford up 14%. The average new rent now in this state is €20,000 a year. In Dublin, the picture is even more brutal. The average new rent in Dublin stands at €27,000 a year. Tánaiste, this isn't an accident. This is the direct result of Fine Gael's approach to housing and to renters, letting the market run wild, protecting profits and abandoning ordinary people. Average rents were less than €1,000 when you became minister, when you took up your position in cabinet. Now they're nearly double that, Minister. That means that people are now having to pay over €9,000 more a year in rent than when you took office, and almost €10,000 more a year here in Dublin for new rents. And you're going to make matters worse. From March of next year, tens of thousands of renters will see their rent reset to the very top of the market. For some, this will mean a doubling of the rent. So I ask you, Tánaiste, how high are you willing to let rents go before you intervene? Is it €3,000 a month, 4,000, maybe 5,000? What's your cut-off point? Because young people can't take this pressure any longer. You're pricing them out of homes, out of family life, and out of their own future. And what did renters get in this year's budget? Well, they didn't get the promise that you made to them that you would increase the renters' tax credit. They didn't get that, but landlords are going to get an increase. They'll get a €1,000 tax break next year. Workers get no tax cut at all, but developers get €250 million of a tax break for apartments that are already under construction. Once again, the government made clear political choices, landlords and developers over renters. Tánaiste, our position is clear and it's simple. You need to end the rip-off. You need to get rents under control. You need to make housing affordable. That means cutting rents and freezing them any further rent increases for the next 3 years, to give renters breathing space and to stop this relentless upward spiral. So here's the question. Are you going to finally act and cut rents and introduce real meaningful three-year rent freeze? Yes or no? Or are you going to continue with Fine Gael's failed approach that has already driven rents through the roof? While you sit at the cabinet table, rents have gone up on average €1,000 a month, to the point that it costs €27,000 for a new tenant here in this capital. It's shameful.
Well, thanks very much, Laskin Corla. Good morning. Firstly, I want to join with colleagues in welcoming our former colleague, Ireland's friend and our Commissioner in the European Union, Commissioner McGrath, and thank him for the job that he is doing in the European Commission on crucial areas at this time. I also want to join with you, Deputy Doherty, in welcoming the Shankill Shared Women's Centre to the public gallery today, and thank you for the important work that you're doing also. And can I please also join, I know on behalf of people right across this chamber, and indeed with the people people of Ireland in sending our solidarity and support to the people of Hong Kong and to all of the families affected by the horrific apartment block fire last night. Truly devastating and deeply disturbing, and we think of all of those impacted at this very difficult time. Deputy, there's a kind of a rhythm to your questions these days, which is where you selectively quote from publications that have just come out. But you may not have had a chance to fully read it yet, but the RTB report out this morning does show something that you chose not to share with Dáil Éireann or not to share with renters, which is that the ESRI's individual property level analysis shows that 62% of properties nationally saw no change in rent year on year. And that number is up. It's up by 4.8 percentage points compared with the previous year. So yes, we have a real challenge in terms of housing. Indeed, it's an emergency. But we are now seeing a situation where the number of rental properties not seeing an increase has now increased further than last year and now stands, hang on a second now, give me a chance, Deputy, and now stands at 62% of properties. So more than 6 out of 10 people. It also finds the benefit of the rent pressure zones, because it finds where rents have increased, that's disproportionately in areas not covered by rent pressure zones. And you like to talk a lot about what's happened since the election. Well, what's happened since the election is this government that was re-elected and reformed took a decision to extend nationwide the rent property zones, including to your own county, to Carndonagh, to Buncrana, Lifford, Letterkenny, Milford, Glenties and Donegal Town, areas that were not covered by rent pressure zones up until we brought in those measures in recent times. And I've no doubt that that's also going to provide much assistance and protection. Yes, we are seeing a churn in terms of landlords coming into the market, landlords leaving the market, but we're actually also seeing more tenancies than before. Nationally approved housing bodies have seen their registered tenancies grow year on year and quarter on quarter. Private tenancies have also grown annually to 240,751. And in Dublin, an area where there's often particular acute housing pressure, registered private tenancies rose by 4.3% annually to 108,174. You say your position on rent and rental protections is clear. I'm not sure it is, because I genuinely don't know today whether Sinn Féin supports rent pressure zones or not. Deputy Eoin O'Brien didn't support them, said we're going to get rid of them and replace them with a reference system that the Housing Agency and the ESRI, both independent of government, said would not work, would be extremely complicated, wouldn't work, and I believe would have actually pushed up people's rents. And yet I heard your own leader on national radio saying that scrapping RPZs would remove the only modest protection. So I'm not sure if that's discontent within the Sinn Féin party. Is Owen telling the truth? Is Mary Lou telling the truth? Which is the policy of Sinn Féin when it comes to renters? I'd also point out, you mentioned the rent tax credit. When this government was returned to office, the rent tax credit was due to expire. We took a decision to not just increase it for a year, but to actually increase it and keep it there for the next 3 years. It was going to go to €0 and 0 cent until we took the decision to put hundreds of millions of euro of taxpayers' money into the rent tax credit. So your position when it comes to rent pressure zone is Jekyll and Hyde stuff. It truly is. We're bringing in a series of rental protections, and I want people listening into this to know that we brought in on the 10th of June a series of new rights and protections for both new and existing tenants, including ending no-fault evictions for larger landlords with 4 or more tenancies, including bringing in rent controls, extending them nationally through the RPZs for the first time ever from the 20th of June, and we're already seeing the benefit of that. So yes, there is a housing emergency, but there are some signs of encouragement in terms of the number of properties now that are not seeing an increase in rent this year, and that is up on last year.
Thank you, Tánaiste. Deputy Doherty.
Tánaiste, do you really, in your heart of heart, believe that young people who are listening to you, like that couple that I was speaking to last week, 26 and 27-year-old, they're back in the box room of their family, back in their childhood bedroom. They were supposed to build a house here, start a family, live here in Ireland. They're heading to Australia. You try to deny the reality that's out there. The RTB are very clear. Rents are going up. They've gone up over 1,000 in the last year. New rents and existing rents have gone up. Every year since you've been in Cabinet, rents have gone up an average of €1,000. The bare facts, not my facts, the RTB's facts have told us very clearly that the average rent now that renters have to find for new rents, they have to find €9,000 more since you took office in Cabinet. In Dublin, they have to find 10,000. Do you think it's appropriate that new renters have to pay €27,000 a year in rent in Dublin? Our position is very clear. Ban rent increases. Stop filling the pocket of landlords. And you know something? Maybe you tell the truth. You told the public, you made a solemn promise to them that if you got re-elected, you would increase the renters' tax credit. You broke that promise, like so many others, Simon. Because Simon says on one hand, Simon does on the other hand. The election is over and Simon doesn't care. You have prioritised landlords, developers, and you have left renters abandoned. And that's the reality of it. Every year rents are going up and you have no plan to fix it. Indeed, you're going to make it worse because you're going to allow landlords to reset the rents right across the board in March of this year. And it is appalling. And that is why young people have decided to abandon this country in search of different futures.
And I'll take the same latitude on the clock as well.
Of course you will.
Thank you. I don't understand the Sinn Féin policy that opposes every single support for small landlords to try and keep them in the market, and then wants to make sure we have more rental properties available. How do you wish to have rental properties without landlords? And yet you demonise small landlords across this country and oppose every single measure. Mom and pop landlords, people in my constituency and yours, renting out one property or two, you demonise them. We need them to stay in the market. Yet you want to drive them out and increase rental property. It doesn't make sense. It's probably why you're celebrating your 15th anniversary as the opposition spokesperson on finance. 5 finance ministers later, you're still sitting in the same seat because the people of Ireland don't trust you when it comes to the economy. They know that the angry jack-in-the-box routine doesn't build homes, Pearse. It doesn't build homes. It doesn't build homes. And last angry Pearse, and last Corda, in the extra time available to me, in the time available to me that was available to Deputy Doherty, can I point out that there's only one party in this House that is receiving very significant financial funding from builders and construction companies. The published accounts of Friends of Sinn Féin in the United States of America show that of your €366,000 in donation, you know where the bulk came from? Construction companies and builders. You know where the biggest donation came from? One construction company in America that gave you $20,000. You tell the young people of Ireland you're on the side of the working people, and Mary Lou flies out to America to take the dollars from the big businesses, big companies, big builders. You are the party of taking big money from big American building companies. You are a hypocrite.
You've got your time. Please, order.
You're making the grass blushing up there, buddy. I have endorsement from a finance minister.
Just to reassure Tánaiste.
Happy anniversary.
Nothing to say to the renters about
15 years.
Nothing to say to the renters about
offering nothing positive to anybody. Not you, Pearse.
When the two of you are ready, we can continue. Deputy Keane O'Callaghan.
Benefiting people in Donegal for the first time ever. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. And just to reassure you, Tánaiste, and anybody else in the House, as you interrupt and the clock goes on, I'm fair in relation to compensating on the other side. But it's very difficult at times because, well, the show goes on. Deputy Keane O'Callaghan.